You good? Tell me your name and who you represent today, Mr. Samuda.
Matthew Samuda, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. I've been assigned by the Prime Minister the Environment and Climate Change portfolio, so obviously the issue associated with the Rio Cobre and what appears to be a chemical spill is obviously front and center today. It is why a high-level government delegation has descended on the area to assess both the environmental and the social impact. I want to make the point that even outside of the agencies represented here today, which include NEPA, Mines and Geology, Ministry of Environment, we're also in very close contact with the Ministry of Health, and we're in very close contact with the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. There will be a series of assessments done. We'll also be working with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. I had discussions with all ministers this morning just to determine the way forward for the entire river basin. The issue facing us today is based on a recent spill, but it's unfortunately not a new issue to the people that live along the Rio Cobre and the people that benefit from the Rio Cobre. Unfortunately, they will tell you that the government has well-earned cynicism, and it is because this has been going longer than I've been alive. So I understand why they feel as frustrated as they feel. The issue has been, the river has been impacted by bauxite, it has been impacted by construction. We also know it has been impacted by farming, with significant discharge at different points into the river, which makes it difficult for those who fish, those who enjoy pleasurable experiences, those who sell tours of sorts to the space, those who access water from the river. This issue is multifaceted. So there's no simple fix. We, however, are not going to stand here and tell you that the issue and the problems as we have identified can continue unabated. I think that is impatient of debate. What we've received here on this Emancipendence weekend is basically a gift of poison. And that is not what we would have wanted for Jamaica 60. So I think incumbent on all of the agencies represented here and on the government, there are many steps we will have to take to ensure that we're not having this discussion at Jamaica 70, certainly not at Jamaica 65. So the Prime Minister has instructed that a working group be convened to look at the issue of discharge into the Rio Cobre, to look at the issue of development along the course of the Rio Cobre, to ensure that the fix deals with the issues in the way that they need to be dealt with, to ensure that we analyze the situation, not just from one industry, but from all of the users of the river. We're not going to diminish the impact on the citizens here. This is devastating. I'm saddened to see the impact on the farmers, on the fisher folk, on those who need water for household use. This is a problem. This is a serious issue. Now, people will say, well, what's the consequence? And then they'll say, well, what's the fix? Let's start first with the consequence. Windalco has, the Jamaican government through the NRCA holds an environmental performance bond from Windalco, which means when there are breaches, when there is environmental impact, the government can draw down on this bond proportionally to the damage observed. This damage is significant. I will allow the scientists, the team at NEPA, the engineers to do their assessment. But I want to assure the people of Jamaica that the government holds on this environment bond at current exchange rate over $115 million. So we will be able to draw down significant sums to ensure that the cost is felt by the company and that the money that the professionals need to do the remedial work is indeed put into place. So there will be consequences outside of the usual low fines. On the issue of fines, I also want to assure the public that in the next legislative cycle, coming out of the summer break, the government will be moving apace to table amendments to the NRCA Act and to the Wildlife Protection Act, both of which we believe the company has run afoul of today, to significantly increase the fines. The Prime Minister would have said so in Great Bay, and he has instructed me and indeed the team at MEGJC, who lead the legislative charge, to ensure that this is tabled in the coming quarter. So the government is assuring the people of Jamaica that the issue of low fines will come to an end this year, in our 60th year. We won't continue like this where people can put this as a cost of doing business. But we are also assuring the public that we will draw down on the environmental performance bond proportionately. I believe it may be all, but I will allow the technical team to do their work to ensure that. So the $115 million that the Jamaican government holds, no sir. But you're not doing the interview, so I'm asking you to just wait. The reality is the government holds an environmental performance bond to the tune of 115 million Jamaican dollars. And if the assessment is that that is what it is, we will draw it down. The public should also be aware that for Windalco to then continue operating, they will need to replenish this environmental performance bond. Now, we're not going to allow that to become a cost of doing business. There's a lot of work that NEPA, Team at Mines and Geology, and indeed JBI, indeed the Ministry of Environment, will have to do with this company to find a sustainable way for them to do business. The reality is what's taking place can't work. In 2019, there was a massive effluent leak again, and that would have caused a fish kill. We can't continue like that. At that time, NEPA had insisted that an increased reservoir was put in place to stop the potential flow of chemicals into the water. My understanding is that that project should be complete between September and November. This reservoir, we hope and we expect, based on assessments, would be sufficient to stop effluent flow in any large way into the river.